Have you with us on Full View now? Following the publication of the controversial book The Lost Boys of Bird Island, there's renewed interest in the island 58 kilometres northeast of Port Elizabeth. The SABC has unearthed a permit that was issued by the Monument Council in the 1980s, granting PE businessman Dave Allan permission for a diving expedition to the Doddington, which sank near Bird Island.
Allan is one of the men identified in the book written by journalist Steyn and Minnie. It implicates, among others, former National Party ministers Magnus, Malan and Wiley, and Allan in that alleged government pedophile ring in the 80s.
A serene and remote island in Algoa Bay, named Bird Island due to the largest population of Cape gannets in the world. In the book, co-author Minnie details the molestation and rape of young boys on the island. Minnie says the ministers would ferry boys, mostly of mixed race, under the pretense of fishing excursions. The boys were said to have arrived on Bird Island in military helicopters.
Alleged atrocities occurred was at the lighthouse keeper's house. It's just to the right of the lighthouse, and it's actually quite funny because the house has got a garage. And there's never been a vehicle on Bird Island, but because lighthouse keepers were allowed to have a house with a garage, they built a house with a garage. There is a landing strip for helicopters, which was also used to ferry the personnel to and from the island.
There is a stone plaque on the island issued by the then Environmental Affairs Minister John Wiley to Dave Allan in 1985. SABC News managed to secure the original permit, giving Allan permission to dive near a vessel that ran aground at Bird Island. Allan was documented as a regular visitor. His permit was valid from 1982 until 1986, the same period the alleged molestation took place.
The alleged perpetrators of what was going on there actually got the permit to salvage the Doddington, and he claimed not to have found any gold there, but this gold later surfaced in Sotheby's in London, claiming to be from the Doddington, and the South African government took like their half of it. So from after that stage, a lighthouse was built in 1854. It was the fourth lighthouse ever built in South Africa. And since then there's been 21 further shipwrecks. There's always something happening there. One of the lighthouse keepers' wives mysteriously drowned in the well on the island.
Bird Island is a nature reserve and protected by sandparks. It's home to fur seals, 270,000 Cape gannets, 5,000 African penguins and dolphins in surrounding waters. The Alexandra Dune Field is the largest in the Southern Hemisphere.
So it's amazing. On the one hand, you've got all this beauty, and the anomaly of this is that you've now had this alleged pedophile ring that was operating in such a beautiful place. It's a crisis, you know.
Allan's house in Schoenmakerskop near Port Elizabeth and a yacht house in Wittelsbos in the Tsitsikamma forest are other places the young boys were repeatedly taken to. Police are investigating the death of Minnie, who is alleged to have shot himself last Tuesday. His funeral will be held in Port Elizabeth on Friday. I'm Jade Lee Paulser for SABC News in Port Elizabeth.